Right, everybody, welcome back. Today, we're going to dive into something pretty interesting, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The 2024 Toyota Prius Prime XSE.
Okay.
Um, we've got a news article here with all the specs and features.
hmm
And I think the big question everyone's asking is, does this new Prius finally, you know, ditch the whole, like, boring car image
Right. Yeah.
and actually deliver something, a little more exciting?
Yeah. Does it live up to the hype
Yeah.
that they're putting out there?
Exactly. So let's jump in and see what we got.
Sounds good.
So right off the bat, this article is throwing out a pretty surprising number,
Yeah.
220 horsepower.
Whoa.
I mean, that's not exactly what I think of when I hear the name Prius.
Not at all.
I
We
know.
usually think like, fuel efficiency.
Right, yeah.
You think like maybe a little bit slower acceleration.
Yeah.
And definitely not a sporty car.
Yeah, so how are they getting 220 horsepower out of a Prius?
Well, they've really upped their hybrid system.
Oh.
We're talking a 2.0 liter engine
Oh, wow.
paired with not one but two electric motors.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, it's not just about raw power, though.
Right.
This system is actually really intelligent. It kind of switches between the engine and the motors, depending on what you're doing.
So if you need that quick burst, it'll...
Exactly. Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're merging on the highway or something.
Yeah.
And then when you're just cruising, it'll switch over to the more fuel-efficient electric mode.
Interesting. And then there's regenerative braking too, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. So, like, when you hit the brakes, it actually captures that energy
Oh, wow.
and uses it to recharge the battery.
So it's like getting free fuel almost.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really maximizing the efficiency.
That's pretty cool. So you're basically getting like the best of both worlds, right? You've got the power when you need it,
When you need it.
and then you're sipping fuel like a hummingbird the rest of the time.
Yeah, they're claiming 48 mpg,
Right.
which is pretty impressive for a car with that much power.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, MPG, that's miles per gallon, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's basically how far you can go on 1 gallon of gas.
Right. So the higher the MPG, the more fuel efficient the car is.
Exactly.
And 48, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's way above average, especially considering, the performance we're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, does that actually translate to real world driving?
That's the question, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you see these numbers, but then you get out on the road and it's like
Totally different.
totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, from what I've read and seen from independent tests, the Prius Prime does actually hold up pretty well.
Oh, okay.
Real world MPG is always going to vary a bit depending on your driving style.
Sure.
Like if you're heavy on the gas all the time, you're not going to get 48.
Yeah, of course.
But if you drive, reasonably,
Yeah.
it seems like it can definitely get close to those numbers.
So it seems like they're not just throwing out like, bogus numbers.
No, it seems legit.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, and what's really cool is that this efficiency doesn't come at the expense of the actual driving experience.
Okay.
They haven't just like stripped it down to make it super lightweight.
Right.
It's still a comfortable and enjoyable car to drive.
Okay, that's good to hear. Yeah, because I mean, no one wants to drive a car that feels like a tin can just to save a few bucks on gas.
That's
So, let's talk about this XSE trim level
okay.
because the article mentions it a bunch.
Yeah.
And it throws out some features like keyless entry power, tailgate, heated seats.
Yeah.
But honestly, I feel like that's pretty standard these days,
Not wrong. Yeah.
Like almost every new car has that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
So what makes the XSE trim, special?
Right. So the XSE is kind of like the top tier trim level for the Prius.
Yeah.
So it's all about elevating that whole Prius experience.
Okay.
Think like premium materials.
Like leather seats and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like leather seats,
Yeah.
maybe some nicer accents.
Okay.
And then sporty design touches, like you might see some sportier wheels.
Oh, okay.
Or a slightly more aggressive looking front end.
Oh, okay.
And then also a bunch of tech features that are geared towards a more engaging drive.
Oh, interesting. So it's like they took the Prius and they were like, all right, let's make this fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like they took all the practicality that the Prius is known for and they were like, all right, let's inject a little bit of fun into this.
Okay, I like that. And speaking of fun, they mentioned a 0 to 60 time of 6.6 seconds.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's pretty quick,
Yeah, that's pretty zippy.
especially for a Prius. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, for a hybrid, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So what contributes to that, quick acceleration?
So a big part of it is the CVT transmission.
Okay.
CVT stands for continuously variable transmission.
Hmm.
Basically what it does is it constantly adjusts
Okay.
to find like the optimal gear ratio for both power and efficiency. So it's always kind of in the right gear,
Right.
and that helps with acceleration.
So it's not like a traditional automatic transmission with like set gears.
No, it's a lot smoother
Oh, okay.
and more efficient.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is the suspension tuning.
Yep.
They've managed to strike a really good balance between a comfortable ride
Okay.
and surprisingly agile handling.
So you're saying it actually handles well?
Yeah, from what I've read, it handles pretty well for a Prius.
Wow. Okay. I'm genuinely surprised by this.
Yeah, it's not your typical Prius anymore.
Yeah, this is a whole different beast.
Yeah, they've really stepped up their game.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
So, okay, but with all this talk about performance and, making it more fun to drive,
Right.
is there a trade-off there with the fuel efficiency?
That's a good question.
Like, are they sacrificing some of that eco-friendliness?
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid concern, right?
Yeah.
You think like, okay, if you make it more powerful, it's got to use more gas. But honestly, the advancements in hybrid technology have really kind of blurred those lines.
Oh.
The Prius Prime XSE is a good example of that.
Okay.
It's showing that you can have a car that's both fun to drive
Yeah.
and environmentally conscious.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the elephant in the room,
Okay.
the price.
Right, yeah.
Because the article lists a starting price of $36,225.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that stack up against, other hybrids and hatchbacks out there?
Yeah, so, it's definitely not the cheapest car on the market.
Right.
But it's also not outrageous.
Yeah.
It's competitively priced, especially when you factor in the fuel savings you'll get over time.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
You're going to be spending less on gas.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that'll offset some of the initial cost.
Yeah, but I guess it's important to compare it to other cars in its class,
Absolutely, yeah.
Like what else could you get for that price?
Right, you got to look at what other hybrids are out there. What other hatchbacks are out there and see what they offer.
Yeah.
And maybe some of them have more features for a lower price,
Yeah.
or maybe they have a different kind of performance that you're looking for.
Right. So it really depends on what your priorities are.
Exactly. Yeah. What are your top priorities when you're looking for a new car?
I mean, for me, it's about finding that balance. you know?
Yeah.
Like I want something that's practical,
Sure.
fuel efficient, obviously,
Of course.
but I don't want it to be completely boring to drive either.
Yeah, you got to enjoy driving it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it seems like this Prius is kind of checking those
So
boxes.
it seems like it. Yeah.
But what other things would you recommend someone consider before they run out and buy one?
Yeah, so I think it's always good to look into the long-term cost of ownership.
Okay.
Things like maintenance,
Mm-hmm.
resale value.
Okay.
Toyotas are generally known for being reliable
Yeah.
and holding their value pretty well.
Yeah.
But it's always good to do your research. And then also just think about your individual needs. Like,
Yeah.
does the hatchback design give you enough space?
Right.
Are you hauling a lot of stuff?
Yep.
Do you need more cargo room?
Yeah.
And then are the tech features aligned with your lifestyle?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Some people are really into all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
Some people just want something simple.
Right.
So make sure it fits you.
Okay. Great advice. So to kind of wrap things up here,
Yeah.
it seems like Toyota is really trying to shake things up with this Prius Prime XSE.
Yeah, they're making a statement.
Yeah. It's packing some serious power and features that you wouldn't normally associate with a Prius
Right.
while still delivering on that, fuel efficiency promise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They haven't forgotten their roots,
Yeah.
but they're definitely branching out.
Yeah. It's a whole new era for the Prius, it seems like.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the big question is, has the Prius finally escaped that boring car label?
Right. What do you think?
I mean, honestly, I'm intrigued. Like, I wouldn't have looked twice at a Prius before.
Right.
But this one's got my attention.
Yeah.
I think it definitely deserves a deeper look,
For sure.
I'd encourage anyone out there who's considering a hybrid
Yeah,
to really check this one out.
absolutely.
Compare it to the competition.
Yeah.
Take it for a test drive.
See how it feels.
See how it feels. And just see if it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, you might be surprised.
You might be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.
See you later.